Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. It's going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. So we have just been announced that there is double Void summonings tomorrow. Probably the most exciting summons you're going to get. I've got a few shards here. I really want to get some of those top end Voids. Voids are pretty much dominating the game in a lot of areas right now, especially Arena. Some of those are real top end ones. I recently did a video on the 15 Void champions that I would absolutely 6-star as soon as I got them. I'll run through them quickly. Relic Pretender, Coldheart, Bellower, Paragon, Madame Cerise, Seer, Cardinal, Skullcrown, Umbral, Venus, Siphi, Raglan, Krisk, Warlord, and Arbiter. I'll ping that video at the end of this video. That's kind of like the top Void champions running from rares through to epics through to legendaries that I would absolutely 6-star. What this video is about is kind of what's the next tier down. Who are the forgotten heroes in Void that if you pull them on this double chance summons, you should absolutely be really happy that you pulled them and try and fit them into your team. So let's go then. Let's have a look at some of the rares first. So we've got 4 rares that we're going to have a look at. First one being Haruspex. So Haruspex is rare support-based champion, really strong base speed. And what I like about this guy is he can come in and be that kind of early to mid-game clan boss champion. He could be an arena champion. There's so much of his kit which just kind of works anywhere in the game. A weak version of the poison on his A1, but still not bad. An increased speed and turn meter fill on his A2, which for the arena, for clan boss, for any dungeons is always going to help, especially if you've not pulled that apothecary yet. And then he's got revive a dead ally on his A3 as well, which just makes him a solid all-in-all champion and a speed in the arena lead, which if you've not got one, absolutely worth putting him in, guys. So for me, Haruspex deserves some respect, and yeah, should be using him if you've got him. So that's the first one. Next one is I'd say maybe he doesn't quite count as a forgotten hero because he is talked about a fair amount, mainly because of his fantastic abs. Abs to die for. I'm sure everyone would agree. But yeah, Seducer, Stew Juicer, some people know him as, really great utility champion. Defense based, comes with a stack of defense. For a rare, this is really high, which means you can keep him alive pretty easy. He's got a sleep on his A1. Actually, not a bad one either. 45% chance to sleep. If you're trying to single target somebody out of the game, he's good for that. He also brings this AoE decrease attack, which if you're struggling to get through dungeon content, this guy is going to help you get there. And increased defense and block debuffs. I remember doing a spider takeover for somebody. I couldn't get through spider 19. Seducer was the key. Blocking debuffs, increasing defense, whilst bringing down the attack of the enemy made it tons easier. I couldn't believe how much of an MVP this guy was. Also brings ally protection and block damage on himself. Really strong. This is only available though when you've got Temptress, and Temptress is not so good. But the rest of his kit's very strong. HP aura in all battles as well means that he's just a solid champion. Solid champion. Let's move on to the next one then. Where is he? I think it's here as well. Yeah, Doomscreech. Doomscreech, for those that don't know, I'm doing the Affinity Cup right now. I've pulled a Doomscreech. He's definitely going to be in one of my teams. A1 with decreased accuracy is okay. It's kind of mediocre A1. But he's got here another fill turn meter champion. 30% turn meter fill. And the big version of increased defense for all allies. It's just solid for a support champion. He's HP based anyway, stacks of HP here. And then he's got this pretty unique A3 AoE ability, places a shield up to 30% max HP on this champion for 2 turns. And he does damage according to HP, so you can stack him high, do a bunch of damage there. All in all, again, really solid rare. I wouldn't be disappointed if you're a new account and you pull yourself a Doomscreech. And then the last one for the rares, people do talk about this champ. It's not like it's never talked about. Not in there. Where do I find him? Must be a dark. Yeah, Painkeeper. So Painkeeper, she brings a lot of utility. She brings like a poor man's a poor man's Kaimar ability. So really good base speed, really good base HP. Damage is based off defense and attack, which means she just doesn't really hit hard because it's not kind of how you build her up. But she gets self-turn meter fill on her A1. She heals all allies on her A2 and it's an AoE attack. And then she drops the cooldown of your ally skills by 1 turn on her A3. This is what she's great for. If you've got Cold Hearts in the team, if you've got Royal Guards, anybody that's going to be doing your main abilities, she'll drop the cooldown of that skill, book her out every 4 turns. You kind of need to book her out if you're going to use her. But every 4 turns, she's going to reduce the cooldown of your team, which is massive. It's massive in this game. So all in all, really, really solid rare. Let's move on then to the epics. And I think the epics is probably where these guys don't get a lot of airtime, but they're actually insanely good champs. Let's start with Lightswarm. Lightswarm was one of my first epics in the game. So certainly one of my first Void epics. And he has got actually a really good kit. He was my only decrease attack champion in Clan Boss up until Nightmare, until I managed to pull a Tyrell. I had Lightswarm as my only guy doing this job for a long time. And it's very reliable. So it places it. It's not like 50% chance to play, 60% chance. It's 100% chance to place if you hit the accuracy cap. So really solid here. You can book it down to a 3-turn cooldown, but it only lands for 2 turns. So if you're going to use him for your decreased attack champion, you either need someone to extend that debuff, or you need to make him go faster than the clan boss so you recycle it quicker. So it works better in a speed team. Also got a bit of a drop turn meter on his A1, and he's got increased defense and revive on death on his A3. All of these skills are great. Brilliant in Spider, brilliant in Fire Knights, brilliant in Clan Boss, and very solid in Faction Wars as well. So all in all, good champion. He has got an insane base defense. Look at this, nearly 1,500 defense. One of the highest epic defenses. I can't even think of one. Maybe it's the highest epic defense in the game. I'm not sure, but it's massive, which means that you can actually get high scaling defense on him from the increased percentage defense items. Also means that you probably then don't need to have a defensive amulet. You could put a crit damage amulet on him. You could probably put crit damage gloves on him because its defense will already be very high from, you know, like a 50 or 60% increased defense chest. Really solid. That's Lightswarm. Let's look at the next one then in the Ogren tribes. This guy is used here and there around the game. Maneater. Most known, I guess, for being part of an unkillable comp in Clan Boss, and he's probably the best at doing it. He had a recent nerf to make him a bit harder to do it with, but good base stats. He doesn't hit that super hard himself, but he's got a great kit. So he's got a decreased attack on his A1, 50% chance to... it's 100% chance to land if you land a crit, which makes it very, very reliable, guys. You just got to build the crit rate up on him. So very reliable to do it. It's also... you attack one enemy, but it places the debuff on all enemies if the attack's a crit. So if you're using him in someone like Spiders or Dungeon Runs, he will put that decreased attack everywhere. Really great. You've also got a attack one enemy, fully deplete target turn meter on the A2, which is huge as well. Fills this turn meter by the amount the target loses. So if you go in on the Spider and take 100% or 90% of its turn meter, he fully depletes it. So it's not depleted by 100%. That's different. Cold Heart depletes by 100%, but sometimes the turn meter goes above 100%. So he actually fully depletes it, which means he might just get a full extra turn. Really cool. Very cool for the arena as well. And then he puts unkillable and block debuffs on all allies, which is huge, guys. It's huge. Spider, Clan Boss, as we know, for unkillable stuff. Arena, if you can get it off. Faction Wars. This guy is a beast, and he's probably underutilized other than in unkillable teams. So don't sleep on this guy. Really great if you pull yourself a Maneater. Next one on the list then is going to be Whisper. Where do I find Whisper? Nut reference? Yeah. So Whisper, she was released as part of the Amazon Prime freebies. Everyone was kind of unsure about her, including me. What she does well is kick out a ton of damage in a short space of time. So she has got a weaken on her A1. She's got this ability to ignore defense if a target's under a weaken on her A2. So she self buffs and then does a lot of damage. And then she's also got this attacks 2 times and gets an extra turn if someone's got decreased defense and weaken on them. So you can kind of spiral turns with her. She's also got this chance of getting an extra turn if she lands a crit here. So often I've seen Whispers do 4 or 5 hits in a row when her moves start to kick in. Put her in Relentless set again, and that's going to give you an even better chance. And she hits bloody hard, really hard. Mainly good for clan boss if you're running a speed team. Also good though in dungeons to just kind of clear out waves. She could do with an AoE in her kit, but other than that, she is a solid champion. Definitely not one to be worried about. She has very low base defense though, so you need people in your team that are going to keep her alive. That's Whisper, and then right next to her, Golden Reaper. If I'm honest, when she first came out, is it a she? I think it's a she. Not so sure now, actually. Not so sure. We're not going to assume gender on this one. So Golden Reaper, when it came out, we all thought, what an interesting champion. Definitely new in the speed meta, going to be the best one. In fairness, she didn't really achieve that. She didn't knock old Apothecary and High Platoon completely out of the races, but she's as good. She does different stuff. So she's got a turn meter fill. She's got a speed buff on one ability, 3 turn cooldown. That's very cool, really good. She has got an AoE decrease attack, the big version on her A2. Again, very cool. Really useful to have as your secondary decrease attack for clan boss. Brilliant for dungeons. And then she's also got this chance to decrease the cooldown of a random skill of an ally on her A1. This is why everyone thought she was going to be brilliant. For me, it's too random. It's too random, which is why she's not used more. But it's still kind of niche. And if it lands on one of your champions that you want it to land on the right skill, brilliant. But don't rely on it. But still, even aside from that, she's got good base stats, brilliant base speed. She can definitely be your speed champion in a lot of content. Tons of dungeons. Really cool champ. Let's move on then to the few legendaries we're going to talk about here that I didn't talk about before. One that easily could have slipped onto that first list was Sir Nick. Sir Nick's an absolute god in this game. He hits harder than any other HP-based champion in the game. He's got a freeze on his A1 which can't be resisted, so you don't need any accuracy on him. He's got a slamming AoE on his A2, which throws up a big shield. Kind of like the miscreated monster one. Massive shield on this guy for your whole team. And then he's got unkillable and heals on his A3. Brilliant champion in the game. Easily could have gone onto that first list that I did for top 15 to 6-star. Brilliant champion. I really want one myself. Massive asset to your team if you get one. Next one up is Gege. Gege is definitely somebody that people overlook. He's not in there. He is in there. I do have him. I use him in my faction war team as my absolute carry for the Ogren tribes. But for the arena, he is insane. AoE freeze, 100% chance to land it for 1 turn. Basically gives you a free turn in the arena, guys. Freezes the whole enemy team. Just need to beat the accuracy check. But when you freeze someone, you come in and you do this A3 as well, because he gets an extra turn. He comes in, anyone that's frozen and gets an extra hit on. This guy can be built to one-shot people easily. And he's got a passive 50% chance of placing a freeze on the attacker if he takes a hit and loses more than 20% of his max HP. Massive ability there as well. This guy, don't sleep on him. Brilliant ability. Yeah, one of my favourite legendaries that I own, actually. That's Gege. We've got 2 more to do. 2 more. So I think everyone was complaining that I didn't talk about this guy in the first video, and rightly so. Haeju Mon easily could have got into that first video. He's one of a kind. Got a passive that means he always goes first. So you can build him however you want, but you can build him without speed and he's definitely going to go first. You can build him to absolutely like one-shot a whole team. You could build him in stun gear to just mess with the team. He also brings a block, cooldown skills, and decrease attack on his A2, which means you can lock out the whole enemy team potentially. 50% chance for that to land. And he's got a decreased speed on his A1 as well. You can make him an absolute slayer of tanks. You can make him a nuisance that's just going to lock up the enemy team. Insane champion, this one. One of a kind, and I would absolutely love to pull one in this event. And then lastly then, again, I probably should have spoken about him in the first video, but how many are you going to try and fit in, you know? He is a barbarian. He's turboed. Again, he's a bit of a one of a kind, an absolute menace. Like, this guy hits harder than anyone in the game, but you have to activate him. So I wouldn't worry too much about his A1. It does bring a weaken, but you kind of just want to build him absolute full damage. He brings an increased attack on himself, crit rate and speed, and gets an extra turn, which can then lead into this Juggernaut ability. Hits 2 times. I've seen this guy hitting for 300k each hit on the clan boss. Slams them down. Crazy, crazy ability. If you use him in the arena, he gets a reset on this cooldown if he kills someone. Which, if he doesn't kill someone, you've built him wrong. Massive, massive champion. Again, I'd love to have this guy because you can do some fun teams. He hits harder than anyone I've seen hit in the game. So, honorary mention then for someone I do have that I got recently. I can't even remember where he is right now. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Bannerlords? No. It's going to take me a second. I should know where he is. He's my own champion. Definitely not any of those. Not there, not there. Is he here? No. Better late than never. We've got a maintenance coming as well. I can't even find him. Is he in the last faction? I'm actually going to check. He's definitely not a dwarf. Ethos! He's a high elf. He's an elf. I can't see his ears. That's why I didn't know he was an elf. This guy is a fun champion. Sped up tons of my dungeon runs. He's got AoEs for days. 3-hit AoE on his A2. Massive slam on his A3. That's always a crit. And then he's got a decent scaling hit on his A1 as well. Huge base attack. Good base speed. This guy's an arena legend. Dungeon legend. Really fun champ as well. Honorary mention there. Didn't quite make my top 15, but I thought I'd better talk about him anyway. Guys, good luck on the ×2 pulls for Voids. I'm hoping for one of those off the 2 lists. Leave me a comment below. Did I miss anyone else? Who else should we be talking about here? I'll catch you on a video soon.